Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon, and I end up alone. I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Hollywood perfect. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Hollywood perfect. Ain't got no place to call my own. Feels like I'm better off alone. So sad inside and hopeless. These Hollywood hoes never notice. Can't get back on. Girl, I miss you. Can't get back on. Girl, I miss you. Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon, and I end up alone. I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Hollywood perfect. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon, how'd I end up alone? I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon, how'd I end up alone? I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you're Hollywood perfect. Hollywood perfect. Hollywood perfect. Hollywood perfect. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect.
I've been counting down the days to get out. I've been looking for a way from this town. And you're too far away to help me now. So I'm counting down the days to get out. 'Cause I need to learn to forget everything that drags me down. I need to focus everything inside me now. Full speed ahead, fly from the end. So I'm full speed ahead. makes this happy fast?
Showing off, don't wanna have to wait tonight. Wait tonight, better off. I'm gonna find my way tonight. Wait tonight. Won't you talk to me? I wanna heal your sorrow. Talk to me. We'll make a new tomorrow. Talk to me. One night to find the answer. Talk to me. What makes this heart beat faster?
What makes this happy fast?
to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty.
Sitting lonely in my room again, trying to find the words to say, but nothing comes out. I am looking for the better days, seem like they just stay away whenever I try. There's so many things that I keep in my mind. My friends keep me out and it hurts every time. With all the emotions I built up inside, oh why can't I? Will someone look for me if I disappear? No matter how much that I scream, nobody hears. But I see the light from far away, it's down the line. Maybe I should not give up without a fight, 'cause there will be a time. Oh, 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 oh. There will be a time. Oh, 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 oh. There will be a time. There will be a time. Sitting lonely in my room again, acting like I'm innocent. Why do I try? 'Cause now I'm feeling like a fool again, thinking I can fool myself by telling me lies. When there's so many things that I keep in my mind, I hang around people I don't even like. If they can be happy and walk with a smile, oh why can't I? Will someone look for me if I disappear? No matter how much that I scream, nobody hears. But I see the light from far away, it's down the line. Maybe I should not give up without a fight, 'cause there will be a time. Oh, 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 oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is a lovely Tuesday, depending on where you are. It might be a little bit early yet, but we are here for some nice scrims between two of our ZMG teams. On the red side, we have ZMG Luna, who is playing in the Aegis Guardians League, and on the blue side, we have ZMG Courage, who is still looking for a league. They're going to be facing off today in a best of three. I am your host, Alzeranor. I am being joined on the desk today by Pretty Fig.
Hopefully everyone's having a good day.
Rapid
And
fire first bands here. Hardly got through my intro before all six were down. Anything jumping out at you here?
well, I know one of Smoothen's main junglers is that Rengar, so that makes sense. Currently, Molly has been playing a lot of Anivia and Cassiopeia for the mid lane. And then for the ADC, I don't really know about the gen, but I'm sure it works. On the Luna side, Those seem like fairly standard bans: Olaf, Wukong, and Yon.
In terms of first three picks, we do see the high priority Senna getting snapped up, but Luna taking away the Twitch Lulu, obviously a very strong combo. Lulu does a great job at keeping Twitch safe and making him even scarier coming out of that invis. So if they
I
can get
find it interesting that on both sides, the first picks were a pick away. The Senna is against the Luna support who plays a lot of Senna, like I think I mentioned before, like a 70% win rate on it. And then on Luna's side, they picked away the Twitch, which is one of Nikita's like I guess comfortable champions, and then Twitch Lulu is just a very strong combo.
we do see the Mordekaiser pick away too. Obviously, in last week's best of three against Team Ambition Boomer.
Ambition.
Yes, I had to remember who played what team. Swole Pingu absolutely popped off on that Mordekaiser, being taken away here by Courage. I guess they didn't want him to get his hands on that and dominate the game like he did last time, huh?
Sure, the Darius Mordekaiser matchup is a skill based matchup, I believe. I would have to look that up real quick.
It is, to my knowledge, somewhat skill based. I do play more tanks than bruisers, but both champions excel in longer trades, so it becomes a matter
Um,
of who can outplay the other, to my knowledge.
Mordekaiser wins against Darius 51% of the time, so it's pretty much a skill matchup
Yeah.
between the two. And then I think Amumu is just a pretty safe jungler. It provides a lot of CC, and I think its clear is also fairly fast.
Not many surprises that I can see in the second round of bans either. The Tom Kench, obviously a strong duo with Senna. Volibear is a standard jungler here. Ari and Swain, both quite scary in the mid lane. Have you seen any of these upper level coaches talking about the Imperial Mandate Swain build that's been floating around recently?
I've mentioned it. I not mentioned it, but I've heard about it, but I've not seen it in practice yet. But I feel like damage is honestly probably better. Unless maybe you're going for a Swain support. Like I know Swain Senna used to be kind of a strong combo in the bot lane.
I've seen it built a couple of times in my normal games, which obviously don't have quite the same level of cohesion as these competitive games. Was just curious if any of these coaches are thinking about switching it up and throwing it in here.
Oh yeah, so Smoovin got his Rek'Sai. If I remember correctly, both junglers do play Rek'Sai. Oh, it looks like Nikita will go with the Zaya pick. I'm not entirely sure how strong the Zaya Senna combo is. I think it's just overall like probably a fairly safe lane.
Which seems like a double-edged sword in this case because it gives that Twitch Lulu time to scale up to the point where Twitch is very scary. And the battle of the control mages being set up in the mid lane with Orianna into Victor, both, of course, incredibly long range early compared to most other mid laners.
Say though, I do feel like Victor does scale better with damage than Orianna, unless obviously Orianna for some reason gets like a pentakill at some point in the game. But the Orianna ball on like maybe Darius or Rek'Sai should still be fairly strong.
In terms of team fights, who do you think has the upper hand here? I'd lean towards Courage, but I think it's fairly close.
It's really gonna be it's I you know like I feel like on a straight like team fight, Courage does have the upper hand. But if Luna is able to make the picks that they want with that Twitch and Darius, I do think that Luna has a strong shot.
Is there anything else looking at these two drafts that you would like to highlight going into game one here?
I feel like it's really gonna depend on the early game and which side gets ahead early. Will it be the Mordekaiser or the Darius? And then will a Rek'Sai be able to get the lead off of his earlier ganks?
Which jungler do you expect to have more presence in this early game, since the early game is going to be so pivotal here? Do you think it'll be
Mm.
Shmoovin's Rek'Sai or Bob's Amumu?
I would like to think that Rek'Sai might have a little bit more earlier ganks, like pre-6 ganks. But I think when 6 hits, I think Amumu will start making a big impact on the map.
Well, we shall have to see how things play out. Unless there is anything else you would like to touch on, I think we will head into a short break as these teams get everything set up in client and we go through the 3-minute spectator delay.
I don't have to say.
Alrighty, in that case, folks, we're going to step aside for just a couple of minutes here as these teams get set up. We will be right back with Game 1 of Courage vs. Luna. Don't go anywhere. ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Game 1 is getting underway here. We have Courage on the blue team and Luna on the red team moving out onto the Rift. Now, during the break, we did receive notice that the support for Team Luna here is actually their coach, Glorsnax, who is subbing in rather than their standard support. Was there anything else that we had noticed that needed to be acknowledged?
Oh, I guess one thing to kind of note is on the side of Luna, their jungle is a tryout, and then on the side of Courage, their mid laner is a tryout. So both teams are trying out.
So, both coaches will be less concerned then about the win and more concerned about how the teams work together then, correct?
Correct.
We
It
do.
looks
Go ahead.
like I was gonna say it looks like Amumu will be starting blue side while Rek'Sai starts they're blue, but
That's
top and
not
bottom.
particularly surprising given that Amumu is fairly mana hungry early with that despair toggle in the early game. However, do you expect him to perhaps rotate into an early bot lane gank off of this pathing?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking is that since Amumu started top, he will probably work his way down and then try to get off a early bot lane gank, while Rek'Sai will be pathing towards top side. Assuming nothing cheesy happening.
And cheese is always possible, so we cannot be all too certain yet.
What do you think each team's win con is?
Well, Luna's win con is very straightforward. It is Twitch. Unless Darius gets incredibly ahead and gets to the point where he can just control the game without any support from his team, Luna has very much drafted a Protect the Twitch comp with 2 beefy members and 2 effective supports. I think Courage has a bit less of a clear win condition. I think their focus is split between Victor and Zaya. We do see an invade here from Shmoovin. Gonna get the first blood here in the solo kill onto the Amumu and steal the red
And
buff
steal his
inside.
red buff.
Looks like he's not going to take that tunnel out, but will manage to leave safely. Looks like
Looks
he's
like he's
trying.
ganking mid.
I think he was trying for the chickens, but since they're not there, he is perhaps looking to gank Shizumoto, but it does appear that Anubis has pinged this out, so he will just leave, perhaps to take that bot side Rift Scuttler.
This early game jungle interaction, do you think that will change the potential path that was going to happen?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you said that the paths were pretty clear unless something cheesy happened. An early jungle invade is about the most cheesy you can get. We do see Nikita taking a lot of poke here. But with that Senna, she should be able to heal up pretty alright, wouldn't you say?
I mean, early game Senna Q healing is like pebbles. Like, it's not a lot. But I mean, like, as long as nothing like major happens, she should be able to heal up.
We do have Golden Bob looking at perhaps a lane gank here.
Looks like he's just gonna back though.
Shmoovin has
And
come up to the top side, forced the flash out. The immediate flash knock up from Shmoovin will land. Frost Booty running out of health and will fall to Swolpingu here.
And that's what I was kind of mentioning earlier about how I do believe that Rek'Sai will get more ganks early until Amumu gets that 6. Which, considering he just lost his red buff, he might get delayed on that too. See,
With
this
that,
is also the big difference on the bot lane is the fact that even though it's a little bit smaller, Senna does provide some healing scaling, while Lulu has a shield, but there's not a lot of there's less sustain in the lane.
Dax is running out of health here fairly quickly. However, with only the support providing that poke, not quite enough is out for Lulu to die here.
I think
The
Luna is
exhaust
being
comes
a little
out.
bit.
Flash forward from Anubis. The immediate return exhaust onto Anubis here. As Anubis is running out of health, Nikita's very low as well. But Alun does not have the space to get in there. Not enough range, and Anubis will survive with one hit. Sorry, you were saying before the fight broke out?
I mean, I, I, in theory, Courage had more sustain in that lane unless they do fancy plays like that. That kind of backfire.
Schmoovin looking back top here. Will just throw out the Prey Seeker and walk away.
Going Bob in the bot side, kind of applying some pressure.
Are you
Looks like
surprised at how long it's taken Alun to back here?
yes, I feel like they should have reset a little bit a while ago. But I mean, their jungler's top side, and they now know that Courage's jungler is bot side. So I feel like with the resets, Luna should get priority over this Drake.
Of course, the wave state was fine for the Twitch. However, with no summoner spells and very little mana, if Golden Bob had decided to go in, he would have been perhaps in a very rough situation. We do, however, see Mollywops roaming down towards this dragon. Will find the Amumu here. And maybe in a little bit of an awkward position as the Rek'Sai is at least 10 seconds away from being a part of this fight. Bot lane continuing to spar as well. The root lands onto 2, but Anubis down to half health already.
Right here, it's gonna be very. It looks like okay, he just walked over that pink ward. Okay, he decided to take it. They know where Mumu is. They have a feeling of where probably Rek'Sai is. It's probably gonna come down to collapsing and which jungler gets priority right now.
The root misses from Senna. Senna is running out of health very quickly here. Will fall to the Contaminate as Rek'Sai has found a Mumu here. The ult available from Rek'Sai, not so for a Mumu. A Mumu will be forced out here. Xayah and Twitch continuing to spar in the lane.
That red side should be able to pick up Dragon unless Mumu does some like God Smite over the wall with Bandage Smite.
Looks like
That looks
he
like
is
they're just
choosing
gonna
to
give it.
recall. No, he has canceled that back. Alun is rooted here. Damage will come through to get that plate, but Amumu is on his way, thinking about going in. Still does not have that level 6 here. And with Orianna and Rek'Sai in the area, they choose not to continue on that fight.
It's important to note that Lulu is still level 5, so she would not have the ultimate if Mumu chose to engage there. But I think they just played it safe and backed up.
Also worth note here, despite the extended roam from the Orianna, she is still up in minions at this point over this Victor. Looking at the game state at the moment, if you're Courage, where are you focusing right now?
I think Mumu probably honestly wants to be on the opposite side
The
of the
flash
map.
knock up onto Nikita here. The root coming out, the exhaust coming out onto Rek'Sai as well. The ult coming out. Schmoovin going under the turret will die to Nikita here. Okay.
The issue with that is I don't know where the like Lulu and the Rek'Sai were like up for the turret dive, but I don't think Twitch was on the same page there.
The spray and pray comes out. Nikita running out of health very quickly. Will fall here. Anubis also quite low, but will be able to back away here. Well, the Rek'Sai did flash forward to get the knock-up away from his laners, which I thought was an unnecessarily aggressive choice. But I suppose he felt confident that he had enough damage to follow it up. Of course, was proven wrong.
I think if Twitch was close enough and got the ulti off while Rek'Sai was doing his CC, it would have been a little bit different. Okay.
We see a Nivea
That
or Oriana ult traded for Victor Flash there. I still think that's a win for Luna in this particular case. The Oriana ult is a significantly lower cooldown than Flash.
honestly, a Victor without Flash is kind of a scared Victor, in my opinion. He does have his little stun, but like depending on how many people they send, it can be quite scary.
We see some sparring in the top lane here. It looks like Amumu is thinking about clearing Rift Herald here. No, has backed away. Schmoven coming back to the top lane. The immediate departure to Brazil for Schmoven here. Running out of health very quickly. Will have to pop that Rek'Sai ult to stay alive for a couple extra seconds. Will survive, as will Frostbooty, thanks to the power of that W. Swolpingu not so lucky though. Forced to flash away here to avoid dying. And it looks like Shizumoto has roamed up as well. Schmoven and Swolpingu forced to give this turret here. And this should be a Rift Herald for Courage if they choose to take it. Very solid counter engage from Golden Bob there. Flash forward from Dax, very aggressive. Will get that kill onto Anubis.
Although they were to get that kill, I just not feel like Loon and Nitro have a lot of synergy. They keep going forward and back at different times.
We do see the
But
junglers have found each other in the river here. Schmoven forced to run away. It really does seem like they're not on the same page in any of these fights. Which is perhaps unsurprising given that Dax is a substitute here.
because
Rather than the normal player, as Loon
Nitro
gets another
is,
kill.
I mean, Loon was able to get the kill there, but it seems like Lulu is playing more aggressive than the Twitch, which might just be like a playstyle thing that they are need to work on. But I mean, it is also not their starting support, so I wouldn't be too worried about it.
However, as we saw in the ill-fated Rek'Sai dive, it does seem like Dax is more on the same page with Schmoven here. Which, depending on how you look at it, is both a good and a bad thing for your potential recruit to be on the same page as your coaches, but not on the same page as your teammates.
I will say though that the CS swing is kind of starting to be noticeable in some of these lanes. Earlier, I believe Nikita had about a 10 CS lead on Elune. However,
Dax
with
a
all
little
of this
bit caught
fighting,
out here. Will find himself dying to Shizumoto, and Schmoven forced to flash away as well. The bandage toss comes in from Golden Bob, will lock down Rek'Sai, and that will go over to Shizumoto as well. That Victor is now 2-0.
I think they're playing too aggressive for what members they have, especially since, for example, Blue was able to have potentially 4 members there, while Luna was only able to have 2 at most because, well, I guess 3, but the Lulu was below half health, so two
Yeah,
and a half.
I just can't justify that to myself. The Lulu walking in within range of the Victor at less than half health to get a weak vision ward just at the opening of that river. It seems like a miscommunication or something there, because that's a
It would
very
have been
strange
fine,
call.
but Twitch had backed, so they didn't have their ADC there for like any burst damage.
Well, Twitch had backed. They knew that Victor was off vision because they had Orianna in the mid lane. So he should have known that that was a dangerous place to be. But it is what it is. A strange decision that if we get Glor Snacks on the interview desk, we'll have to ask him about at some point.
It does look like there might be a 3v3 tumble in the bot lane, as both junglers are hidden behind vision,
We do get the root
waiting.
out onto Glor's here. Amumu walking forward will be spotted on a ward.
And with those kills onto Victor, he seems to be able to bully out this Orianna.
Having blue buff as well is also a big advantage. A Loon going in a little aggressively, forced the Lulu ult out here as Golden Bob does still have that ultimate. Will get polymorphed here. TTC Smoothing running out of health very quickly. Twitch will fall as well to Golden Bob on the backside of that fight. Nitro will fall as well to this Amumu, and that's a double kill for Amumu, managing to handle both of the bot laners while Schmoovin falls to the ADC. And disaster for Luna here. Looked like they had such good control in the early game, but starting to fall apart a little.
Well, overall, the side of Courage, they do have technically more damage with the Senna and Kaisa versus just the Twitch Lulu. And it didn't really help that like Twitch they had to use the Lulu ult very early on in that fight to save the Twitch. It looks like Senna does currently have 66 stacks and 660 attack range.
Starting to get a
Woo,
little
so much.
scary. If you're Team Luna, are you at all concerned by the trend that both in match play and in this scrim so far, all the games that Luna has played, it seems that they've started out very strong early, but made fundamental mistakes in the mid game that have caused them to lose control of the game? Or am I reading somewhat too far into these
But hard to
matches?
say, especially since on Luna they only have 3 of their normal members: their ADC, mid laner, and top laner. So I feel like it's a little bit hard to say, but I will say I think it's just forcing too hard on certain things. That's just kind of backfiring.
Despite that disastrous bot lane fight, they were able to get first turret. Dax getting rooted here, taking lots of damage from Anubis.
The Senna damage, but like, I don't know what role Glor means, but like, I don't know. I just feel like he's playing too aggressive as Lulu, considering the game state and the fact that they have a lot of CC on Courage between the potential Zaya route and the route on the Senna.
If you had known that this was how Glorious was going to play, would you have perhaps put him onto more of an engaged support? Take advantage of that aggression rather than have to work in spite of it?
Honestly, like, it's fine to play aggressive on Lulu. It's just like he's not positioning correctly. Like he needs to be playing a little bit more scared than he is. I think that that kill onto Senna early with the ignite, maybe got him a little too hyped. Like right now, like Lulu, should you be there? Probably not. I guess they have Oriana, but like this is an easy way to get collapsed on, and they do have a Mumu ult.
Schmoovin found over the wall, will be rooted by the Senna here. Does have the ball on him, maybe looking to go in, but is warded out. Will go over the wall here, flashes under, gets the 2-man knockup. Anubis will fall very quickly, but a 4-man ultimate from the Amumu will delete Luna here. 3 members going down in rapid succession, and Lulu is the only survivor. That's a disastrous fight and will mean a second Drake over to Courage here.
Cool that they got the Senna and the Mumu there, but Mumu still had ulti, and they did not target either the Zaya nor the Victor.
And the Victor ultimate damage absolutely demolished the 3 members who were basically standing on top of each other after the Rek'Sai engage.
I will say though, it's very good that Luna committed. I like the fact that they all committed there. It's just unfortunate targeting, I guess.
Well, that's the kind of lesson you only need to learn once. You don't group up when you're facing a Victor and an Amumu. We'll just have to hope that Luna does not learn this lesson twice in this game.
also have liked to see once Twitch was a slightly ahead in the bot lane and they got that first turret. I really do think it was they should have rotated the Twitch out of laning, I guess, and started doing those kind of cheesy roams.
They have begun to send him mid lane, but that's only happened in the last 5 minutes here rather than when they started taking the turret. Or finished taking the turret, I suppose.
One of Twitch's strength is to be able to go stealth and then like kind of show up where you don't expect him. Um, and I feel like he's just doing like the standard ADC currently. There's not a lot of cheese happening.
As we shift into the mid game and this Victor begins to split push some more and be a factor in the side waves, how does Luna match the Victor, who is incredibly dangerous, very close to killing Schmoovin here, Anubis and Frost Booty pushing up on the side as well.
I
But how do you
think
match
another
him?
thing you don't have the wave clear.
Does Luna then have a way to force pressure elsewhere on the map? Well, Shizumoto is pressuring a side wave, or what's their response to him then?
Looks like they are sending down the Darius, but in theory, you hope that your Darius was ahead of that Mordekaiser so that you could force two members. But like their comp is just kind of falling apart right now.
Schmoovin has been playing with heavy aggression and has not gotten quite as much to show for it as he would have perhaps liked. We do see Luna moving in a large group here up through the topside jungle. Perhaps getting some Baron pressure here, but Glorsnack's a little bit too aggressive here into the Mordekaiser. Will find himself sent to Brazil here, forced to run away. And will use the ult on himself. Frost Booty, however, does not have the passive. Will get knocked up here as he comes out of Brazil. The ult from Oriana will not hit. And that is a flash burned by Frost Booty to counter his own aggression there. I'm somewhat surprised that Frost Booty didn't make use of the remaining time in the Death Realm to walk back towards his Amumu there, knowing
I
that
think
he
he was
had.
planning on flashing over the wall the whole time. Um, I don't. I the Oriana ults this game just have not been very impactful,
No, they
and
haven't.
I think it's because with the Oriana ults, they've been either targeting people who have mobility or people who are tanky. So like, not very. It's not doing very much in the grand scheme of things.
It's also been problematic that the Orioles have been reactive rather than proactive. With the wind up on that shockwave, if you hit the button in response to something else happening on the map, chances are it won't go off in time. You have to toss that ball out ahead of where you want the enemy team to be so that you can control the map. And
I mean,
Molly has not been doing that. Molly's just been, oops, they're all standing here. Better press the R button.
I think on it just doesn't seem that like except for maybe Smaven that the people on a like Luna's side are comfortable on their champions.
I would agree. We do see the shockwave missing once again here. However, the Amumu ult and the Xayah ult, sorry, not the Amumu ult, the Xayah ult comes out as well. I'm not sure what Schmoovin was thinking there as Mollywops is sent to the death realm here. All 5 members of Courage are here. Mollywops is sentenced to death as the rest of his team runs away. And that will be a third Drake given over to Courage here.
I think their Smaven was going for the knock up into a potentially a Lulu ult. However, Lulu was too far away, and I don't think like Twitch just hasn't been able to get the ultis he's want this game.
And Schmoovin was half health when he went in there. He's not building tanky. He's got a Prowler's Claw at the moment. Although he has picked up the Elixir of Iron. So perhaps has realized his lack of defenses here, but still an interesting decision to be so aggressive and yet build this assassin style. With this Victor now a full item ahead of the Orianna, he has become an absolute monster. Having completed the Shadow Flame and just a few hundred gold away from completing his Rabadons as well.
Really only way to get back into this game is to do like get picks. Like they have to like use the stealth and like vision war, I guess. However, since they are behind, it is going to be harder for them to get the picks they want.
And speaking of vision, we see a pretty significant vision disparity between these two teams. Just about every laner on Luna is behind in vision compared to their match, especially so in the ADC role, where Alun only has 8 vision score at 26 minutes. So, using these vision wars to their advantage is going to be a little bit difficult, wouldn't you say?
Like, why is like Lulu the one that was like starting this charge? It confuses me.
Swolpingu now going in. Will pop that ghost, but does get rooted up. Two-man pull will come in. Moving on the back line, but is unburrowed. Forced to pop that ult. Bob will fall here, but Schmoovin will fall as well. Frostbooty running after this Twitch will not quite find him. Or running after Swolpingu, rather. And that's a 1-for-1. And they did get the shutdown onto Golden Bob, but unfortunately not able to take out this Victor, who has a 1,000 gold warrant out for his arrest. A better fight than before, but it still feels like Luna is not on the same page here.
I just don't think that, or on the side of Courage, I don't think the Orianna is just providing enough damage for the team. Like she landed that like 4-man shockwave there, and it like kind of tickled them. But that may also have just been like they weren't really, I don't know, she just didn't really ever have the chance to get ahead, especially with how her ultis happened in the early game.
It's also a little bit hard to compare as Nitro gets caught out here, taking a lot of damage and poke from Shizumoto from just a standard rotation of spells here, down to 1/4 health. It's a little bit hard to compare a Archangel Staff to a Rabadon's Shadow Flame, though. So some of that damage difference is understandable, if not good for the team, I guess. We do see Smooth and a little bit caught out here. The hook will land over the wall, but able to walk away.
I mean, also Courage just has better CC team fight setup with the Mumu and the well, just like no Mumu.
Well, and the Victor, the gravity field is a very powerful crowd control
Crowd
tool.
control. And then I mean they also have Senna W and Zaya Root.
Schmoovin will not live very long, will die immediately to that Victor. Swolpingu does get a turret on the top side here, as the flash forward from Frostbooty does not land anything. I think he was trying to send someone to the death realm, but canceled that command.
Looks like they will be backing to respond to this Darius that is split pushing.
Just the Mordekaiser, however, as the rest of the team does take this third Ocean Drake, and that will be Soul for Courage here, making this Mordekaiser even more scary. healing on top of his already formidable long-term fight.
I think the pick onto what I think the Rek'Sai's thought he had the pick onto the Victor would have worked if Victor wasn't 7 and well at the time 6-0 with 3 items. It's gonna get harder and harder to kill this Victor, and I don't think they have the damage on Luna to deal with the Victor.
It's all but impossible to burst him out now, as he does have that stopwatch to give him a panic button if this Rek'Sai dives onto him again. And at 1-7-3, Schmoven does not have enough damage to really justify diving on him. Both teams looking to get set up for this second Baron here, which will be spawning in about 30 seconds. Alun may have found some damage here onto Shizumoto. The shockwave does not land as Swolpingu going very deep. Hook will be dodged by the Xayah ultimate. Swolpingu continuing to get damage down, but is death realmed by Frost Booty here. Running out of health very quickly here, has done no damage onto Frost Booty at all. The ultimate coming out from Schmoven onto Shizumoto does no damage at all. Swolpingu does get that Lulu ult here as Nikita's running out of health. Does get that judgment down on him, but will manage to kill Swolpingu as Alun is falling very quickly here to the combined damage of the rest of Courage and will be the only survivor as Lulu falls as well. Good engages from Luna, but just no damage to follow up. They're too far behind to take these fights.
I'm just wondering, like, where's the Twitch damage? Was he ulting? I didn't see it fully on there. Was he ulting?
Hey, he did not. Doesn't look like he had ult that fight, or if he did, he popped it very early in the fight, because it's only just now coming off a cooldown.
I mean, that's still like 3 item Twitch. Like, I don't know. I'm just a little bit confused on how they were able to kill like no one.
I
Is
mean,
that
part of the problem there was that the Darius went forward so aggressively that he pushed the entirety of Courage away. So Courage was only focusing him, and Twitch and Oriana were not able to get any damage onto any of the members. So they were forced to refocus
and then
halfway
I
through the
mean like
fight. But
Victor almost got the kill on not Victor. The Rek'Sai was almost able to get the kill onto Victor, but like just wasn't able to do the finish up damage. But it looked like no one else was on the Victor there, which makes me wonder if they're calling target selection in these fights. Because that was a free kill on Victor because he was also separated from his team.
do we know offhand who the normal shot caller is for Luna?
I don't know.
Because I do know that in general it tends to be either the jungler or the support, both of whom are subs right now for Team Luna.
It just feels like they have no direction in these team fights and aren't calling targets.
Well, that may be it then, is that they don't have a target caller. A two-man shockwave here. Purely defensive from Mollywop, still nearly gets taken out by the Senna here. And with this Baron empowered super minion, it looks like Courage just wants to end this game. Alun instantly popped here. Schmoven knocks up the Victor, but will not have enough. Will fall here. Frostboy does finally fall to Swolpingu, but Golden Bob with a flash forward and 3-man Amumu ult will completely nullify any chance of stopping this game ending. Will get the final kill onto Oriana as well, and that will be the game here, with Courage taking the first match. Well, immediate thoughts coming out of that game.
Luna's really gonna need to start working on their. It just seems kind of like Luna just didn't really have a shot caller or a target caller because that was just very messy.
And again, that may be down to the fact that they don't have either their support or their jungler on their team at the moment. However, that being said, You would like to hope that at least one of the current members in the team could step up and provide some kind of direction compared to a team that looked, you're right, completely aimless here. In terms of team comps, in terms of pick ban, is there anything that you saw from Luna or Courage here that their coaches might want to address in game two?
I think like I think one of the issues with Luna's team comp is they had like a pick comp other than Oriana. Oriana kind of wants a team fight with, the ball delivery system, but I think everyone else on like Luna's side wanted to either do picks, and then they didn't really have a true front line, I don't think, to really deal with like I guess like covering for the like Twitch to really pop off, if that makes sense.
Would you say that Schmoven made a mistake building his Rek'Sai assassin rather than building the tankier bruiser Rek'Sai build?
I think if they were ahead, it would have been fine because he would have been able to get those picks like he was early game. However, since they kept trying to like their team really wanted picks, right? Like and then they kept trying to force the team fights and then they would lose every time. So I think even if Rek'Sai built more tanky, quote unquote, I don't think it would have really made a big difference there because I don't think they had the correct damage to pull off what they were trying to do.
Very fair.
While like Courage had an easier setup, right? Like Amumu goes in, Amumu ults, and then people follow up with like either like the Victor stun or the Senna stun or the Zaya like route. You know what I mean? Like there
Right.
was a more clear direction on how team fight should have gone. While on Luna, it was a little bit more dicey.
Watching game one, do you think that Luna has a chance of taking game two here?
Pardon?
Do you think that Luna has a chance of taking game two here? Do you think these teams are evenly matched enough that they still have a good shot at coming back and making this a 1-1 best of three?
They still have a chance as long as they change up their comp. They want the. It seemed like the like I have not seen Alune play a lot of Twitch. Like he's typically playing things like Aphelios, um, what's it called, Lucian. I can't like think of his champ pool at the moment, but like I don't know. I just don't think I just didn't think that Twitch was fitting the way he was trying to play that fight, and then he seemed to be on a different page from his jungler and support because they were playing super aggro. Like they were trying to do those turret dives while he was like back farming or something, and like it's kind of a play style. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think if he was on his normal ADCs, he would have been able to join those fights a lot more straightforward.
Well, we've talked a lot about Luna here. On the side of Courage, of course, have not been able to find a league to be their permanent home. How do you feel that this team is gelling, having watched that game? Do you feel like they've got some good chemistry already as they continue to search for a place to call home in competitive play?
Like Courage's team was more like on the same page. Like during that fight, they when they were going and they were going in, when they were like disengaging, they were disengaging. It wasn't a lot of like in betweens.
Right. So you'd say they've definitely got some positives to take from that game beyond just the hey we won.
Yeah.
Well, good feelings for Courage then. Perhaps some notes to work on from game one for ZMG Luna as we let these teams finish getting ready here for game two. We are going to take what may be a very short break. Uh, don't go anywhere, folks. When we come back, game two of this best of three scrim between ZMG Courage and ZMG Luna. Well, I wasn't kidding when I said a quick break. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, to the pick ban of Game 2 here. The teams have swapped sides and are getting into this second ban phase here. Doesn't seem like there's been a lot of change from Game 1 in terms of pick ban here so far.
It looks pretty standard from the previous game.
Are you
I am.
surprised that none of the champs from last game were banned?
I mean, Twitch just got banned.
Okay, well apparently I spoke about a half second too soon.
um, I am kind of curious about that ban, but I mean, it's I wonder if the Olaf is for top or is it the Olaf for jungle? I think it's for jungle.
Well, if nothing else, it's a strong flex pick, as we do see the Volibear picked up. Equally flexible, but probably more likely to be in jungle here.
Oh, they're picking the Thresh away from meaning because during that oh wait, no, Courage has meaning on his team. Okay,
Yes.
so meaning did get his Thresh that he wanted. Okay.
We do see the Senna picked up here from Luna and the Seraphine. We have seen this particular lane, a couple of times in previous competitive matches, and it has performed fairly well.
Yeah, currently I'm pretty sure the Senna Seraphine lane is stronger than Senna Tom Kench. Assuming that's Seraphine ADC and not Seraphine mid. You know, it's still kind of a flex pick.
Technically possible, perhaps unlikely.
I
As we
am
do
kind of
see.
surprised they let the Victor through again because the Victor last game was kind of an issue.
Is there anything else in Molly's pool that might be better served in terms of controlling this Victor throughout the mid game?
Mm, I know Molly does play the Anivia and the Cassiopeia, so I wonder if one of those two might be okay.
The Anivia is on the table right now, of course, as we enter this second ban phase. It might not be on the table for long. Are you surprised that Courage continued to ban the Tom Kench, even knowing that the Seraphine has already been picked by Team Luna?
I mean, like in general, Seraphine is kind of a flex pick. It could be played mid or like ADC, quote unquote. So I guess they're just trying to cover their bases for the potential Senna Tom Kench combo.
We do see the Jinx ban trying to narrow that ADC pool just a little bit.
I will say though, I think they should be banning stuff like the Zaya over the Jinx, mainly because at least Jinx is immobile and they have an Olaf and like Seraphine that could potentially kind of mess up a Jinx. You know what I mean? But
Very
with
fair.
Zaya can ult and has more of mobility. But I'm pretty sure Nikita's like main ADC that she plays is the Jinx, so it's a respect ban. I just think that the Zaya would be a bigger issue than a Jinx.
And of course, with the Thresh as well, having that Xayah ultimate would give time for the Lantern to come out. However, it looks like they're hovering and will lock in this Caitlyn.
And that's a bit surprising, but I'm sure it's fine.
Now, I will admit I have not seen this particular lane matchup. How does the Caitlyn fare into the Senna Seraphine?
I mean, early on, she does have the poke because Caitlyn, long range. But I just think that as the game progresses and scales, I think Senna Seraphine will outscale the Caitlyn, assuming they hit late game. It looks like they will respond with a Galio into the Victor. Which, I mean, I think also works out with the Olaf. Olaf runs in, Galio ults, Seraphine ults, Senna ults. Fairly good, like, combo.
And we have seen this Galio from Mollywops before in their scrim against Stunned Gaming. We do see the Mordekaiser as well being given over to uh, not actually in the lobby, but Swolpingu. Are you surprised that Courage let that one through?
Wait, is that Volibear top or is that Lilia top?
As I would have to think that that's a Volibear top. Lilia top feels just a little bit too troll for this game. But are you surprised that they let the Mordekaiser through and gave it over to Swolpingu here?
I am a little surprised about that. It looks like people are leaving the lobby. Or no, they're getting ready to. Okay.
Yes. Apparently, Swolpingu did have some computer issues or something, and so we are reshuffling here as we get things back in order. What jumps out at you from these team comps compared to game one and in a vacuum here?
Let me look. I do think that Luna's comp this game has a more clear execution. Like, you know what I mean? It's a lot more
Sure.
straightforward where people should be standing and like what direction they will be wanting. While Courage also has a team fight oriented comp with the Lilia Volley Bear with Caitlyn in the back, Victor in the back, you know. It will be interesting to see how far Smoovin will be able to dive with the Zoloft. Especially since he kind of got melted last. So but now that he has the Gallia ult and the Senna ult and the Seraphine heals and ult, he should be a little bit safer with those dives.
Are you at all or would you be at all concerned here, I suppose, given that Schmoven was perhaps a little over aggressive last game with the dives on Rek'Sai, that he might do the same thing with the Olaf here, be too aggressive and put his team in a hole?
It really just depends on how they play, I think. Because I mean, like with the Rek'Sai, he was trying to do the knockups, right? Like he was getting 3-4 man knockups, and like his team wasn't able to do anything with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, like with the Olaf, hopefully when he's diving in, uh, they will be able to melt the enemy team a little bit better. We're asking if we want the interview. We could do that during the 3-minute delay.
Yeah, we absolutely can. Speaking of interview, we have Chino, one of the coaches for Luna, here on the desk with us. Welcome to the cast.
Beautiful to be here. It's a wonderful to be here, actually. How's it going?
It's going well, although we do have some questions for you. Uh, Namely, we noticed that Luna seemed a bit uh, unguided last game. Is this a
Guided.
result of y'all not having your normal jungler and support?
That's a very nice word. Unguided is a very nice word you just used there. I would rather say they were really honestly they just I feel as though that's their coach, they just didn't know. I'm not gonna be toxic on stream. I just feel as though they didn't really know the macro of the game, like the how the concept of the game was gonna go. Well, our main job was the first game was pretty much we shut down the Mordekaiser early, make him fall behind, give Darius a lead. We have the Twitch Lulu lane, which is already a win con there, is scaling. The Oriana to support it, and the Rek'Sai just for the engage with the Oriana. You know what I mean? So the team fight was there. Everything was perfectly clear. It's just that they just didn't play through that. I felt as though it was just a little bit sloppy, which happens. We're still trying out other junglers and stuff. So it's a little bit rough at the moment.
Is any of that because obviously last week on Thursday you only just finalized what seemed to be your roster, so you were just getting settled in, and now you're having two subs in here, both in what are normally shot calling positions. Are either of the folks who aren't here this evening normally shot calling for Luna in these kinds of fights?
Normally we have the jungler and the support. Both of our jungler and support isn't here at the moment, so yes, it's kind of a it's a little bit rough.
Did you
I,
choose this comp here to be a little bit less shot calling dependent, or
yes, deeply. I mean, they have the Olaf you run at them. You know what I mean? The Seraphine with the Galio, the Mordekaiser. It's pretty much just a little. It's a little bit of everything, you know. It's just like you don't really need I'm not gonna say those words, but you don't really need a lot for this team comp to work out.
you don't need to be quite as all on the same page, if you'd like to put it cleanly?
Yeah. My apologies. I'm
Nah,
not too
you're good.
good for the word. But yeah, no. Hopefully, we'll take this game and take the next game. It's gonna be a spicy game. You guys are gonna love what will be drafted for you guys.
So I have a question. Are you
Mhm.
why don't you have Wars playing right now in this?
Uh, so he is currently going to be gone this week. So we just honestly, meaning was supposed to fill in for us, but he's not here at the moment. So we had Glory come in, which I was supposed to, as assistant coach, I was supposed to fill in. But Glory wanted to play, so I did the assistant coach thing, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll coach a team and draft for us.
Well,
Any any other questions or anything from the stream or anything that I'd like to answer?
I know it's a little bit hard to judge your opponents here, but looking at this Courage team, do you think that they will be a good representative team for ZMG moving forward once we've found a new home for them? Are you looking forward to seeing what they put out?
Hands down. I mean, shoot, I have a lot of respect for Courage. I have a lot of respect to Malice as a coach. And honestly, I feel like this is a pretty strong team and a strong roster. I mean, they took game one from us, so it's really strong. Being from I mean, what are they like? Silver, gold?
They are silver to gold, yes.
Yeah, silver to gold. Being a full gold team, I mean, it's a pretty strong roster. I mean, what more can you say? What more can you want from a team that wants everything? I feel like they should be getting more resources.
Very fair. Do we have any questions from Twitch chat? Fig, you are monitoring Twitch chat, I think.
Yeah, I have it open. There's nothing there right now.
All right, good to be here. I mean, thank you for hosting the thing. Thank you for having me. I'll be on my way and oh, what's up, Speed?
Oh,
What do you have? Why
oh.
is he so small? Oh, damn, dude, you making fun of me now? It's okay. Not everyone could bench press 250. I'm sorry, Speed. I'll hit the gym more for you. But all right, thank you for having me. I can do two. Yo, look, you don't need to show off. I'm sorry, bro. I'll hit the gym after this scrim.
Alrighty, well, we'll see how game two goes. Thank you for joining us, Chino.
I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Alrighty, with that being said, as these teams get everything sorted and get into game two, we will take a short break here. With these technical difficulties, I'm not sure exactly how long it will be, but don't go too far away. When we come back, game two between ZMG Luna and ZMG Courage will be here. We'll be right back.
reaching out, but all I feel is hollow. I wanna make you work, but all I do is make you worse. The truth is a damn hard pill to swallow. Don't you wanna come on over? Don't you wanna work it out? Don't you wanna love me better, love me better, love me now? Don't you wanna fix our problems?
got you and your vibes in my mind, I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. I need you and your heart next to mine, yeah, I'm all about keeping it you and I. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions, your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high.
Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the delay, but we are back and on the Rift here with Game 2 here. We have ZMG Luna taking up the blue side and ZMG Courage on the red. Teams have spread out here and are on the Rift. Any surprises?
It would be standard.
I do believe we are losing you here. I cannot hear you clearly at all.
No? I don't know why. Am I better?
Little bit better. One moment. Alrighty, let's try that again.
Meow.
It's significantly better. Still a little bit robotic, but
Okay.
it'll do.
Well, that delay, maybe it made my internet decide it didn't want to live.
Yeah, who knows with League of Legends and Discord these days.
What I said was it looked like they were doing a standard 5-point, assuming Seraphine got to her spot.
Yep, fairly standard. We do see the Lilia is going into the top lane with the Volibear going jungle. We had talked about this a little bit in Champ Select. This was not the outcome that we expected here, though. A little bit surprising. We may have lost Pretty Fig here. Apologies, folks.
I mean, I should still be question mark.
You're here, but you're hanging on by a thread.
Okay. Good job, internet.
Instant flash forward by meaning upon hitting level 2. The flay lands. The hook will also land onto Alune here. Alune running out of health very quickly is forced to flash and heal. Will manage to survive with just a sliver of health thanks to the exhaust from Nitro. However, having that low health very quickly does put him at risk of Meaning and Nikita re-engaging here. The hook, however, does not land. Back up to about 300 health thanks to popping all those health pots he had available. A good early play from Meaning there. Getting another flay out. More damage down onto Alune and Nitro. But Nikita running out of health here. Does not have the heal in this lane matchup. And will fall. First blood going over to Alune here. Shmoovin, however, looking to perhaps cause a little bit of trouble here in the jungle. Does get a nice trade down on Golden Bob. The smite forced out of Golden Bob in order to keep enough health to stay alive. But the Undertow will be just barely enough to get the kill. And that will be Ghost Pop by the Olaf in exchange for a kill. So that is now 2 kills to 0 for this Luna team early on in this game. Once again, taking control of the early game. The question now is, will they be able to transition that into control of the mid game, or will they lose control again?
Am I less robotic now?
You are significantly better now.
Okay. I also had to get caught up. I knew I was not at the correct page when when you were casting, and what I was watching was not what you were saying. I was like, okay.
Probably a slightly different time in the game.
What time are you? I just hit 401.
I am 407 and counting.
Oh.
So you are just a little bit behind.
I'm at 413, 414.
There you go.
Okay. Now that I've been caught up, I can now watch this game with you. Huzzah!
Yes. You did miss a couple of kills there. We had an invade from Shmoovin and an overextend by Nikita. Frost Booty, however, getting chewed out by Swolpingu here, but Golden Bob is available. The flash forced out of Swolpingu. And Golden Bob deciding to stick around in this lane. Give Frost Booty a little bit of space, but that has given enough time for Shmoovin to get here. The Undertow hits onto Golden Bob, who does not have the flash after the fight in the jungle here. Golden Bob running out of health very quickly. Will manage to get the shield from the Volibear Lightning Call, which is the W? Frost Booty did not have to use his flash in that fight. The hook lands onto Nitrodax here. The flay lands as well. Nitro down to about half health here, but the counter route will come onto Meaning here. He goes down to about 400 health. Nikita putting out damage still, but about an even trade there in the bot lane.
The more powerful things about the Seraphine Senna lane is the fact that they are able to
Swolpingu may have
sustain.
disconnected here. Will
I
fall
think
to Frost Booty. I think he was disconnected there. That's a bit of BM.
that's a little BM, especially since he just stood still. Well, I'm expecting a pause. Pause?
We do see the disconnect here. I'm surprised we don't see a pause coming through here. Especially knowing that Swolpingu had been having... Here he goes. We do have the pause here.
I think it's probably a little delayed because you're not allowed to pause while someone's in the middle of a fight. Just. But now we get to play the waiting sim and wait for my internet to crash again. Woo!
Hey, let's have some hope here. Poor Swolpingu, of course, did have some computer troubles coming into Game 2, which led to that delay, which we do apologize for once again. And apparently, it re-reared its ugly head here, giving a kill over to that Lilia. And we will have a small return pause here as well as we wait for the game to get caught back up to where the teams were.
I'm like, stopped for you? Is it that spectator thing?
Yes, this is a known spectator issue. Along with all of the other known spectator issues. The hook lands onto Alun here. The exhaust coming out as well. Damage not quite there, though. He lives with about 75 health. His Dax has about 400 as well. Forced to run away here, meaning continuing to chase. Does not have the flash. And we'll just zone them off of this wave here. Despite all of these engages that Meaning is putting out, the health bars from these two lanes are about the same. In fact, going heavily over to Luna's favor as Meaning takes the brunt of that empowered Q.
Like I said earlier, that what I was talking about with the Luna side is that they have a lot of sustain between the Seraphine and the Senna. So although they got poked out a little bit earlier by the Thresh hook, it didn't result into any kill. But I also was not watching it close enough to see if Caitlyn was trapping underneath the hook. So I don't know if they were synergizing that combo.
We'll have to keep an eye on that in future fights and see how that work goes. As we see the ult coming out from both top laners here. Mordekaiser asleep in the death realm. Frostbooty trying to stay alive here. Does have a little bit more damage, but the Mordekaiser passive comes out, turning that damage chart around. And it looks like they will disengage here. Schmoovin finds Golden Bob here with the support of his bot laners. Golden Bob running out of health here. Will manage to take down Schmoovin first, but will fall to the Seraphine as Mollywops being the disruptor in the backside of this fight. Nikita taking a lot of poke from that empowered Q. And that will be a 1-for-1 with both junglers falling. I don't think either team takes Drake here off that.
I think they just awkwardly walk back to their lanes like, oh, that never happened. Except I will say that on bot side, Luna has a healthier bot side, while Courage has a healthier mid.
If you're Luna, at what point do you start to get flashbacks to game 1 with that Victor getting out of control?
The difference is they actually have an answer for a Fed Vector with the Olaf and Galio and Mordekaiser too. Like they have a sustain and they have an answer for the Victor. I mean, why do I make chat sad? Unlucky.
Who's insulting you in chat?
I don't know. Maybe it's because I DC'd. I don't know. Who knows?
We do see the Rift Herald take snuck here by Schmoovin.
I think that was a pretty like smart exchange. Like the dragon's a little risky considering both junglers just died in that last fight. So you're just like, I don't see any vision on Rift, so I'm gonna just go take that.
And he does take it without any problems from this Volley Bear.
I think it's also important to note that it is a Loon playing the Senna, so it's the ADC for Luna is playing the essential support, quote unquote, for the bot lane. Starving
Right.
Senna.
Starving Senna, who does have 2 kills and is actually ahead of her enemy ADC. So,
It looks like they'll first pick the Umbral Glaive.
both ults coming out from the top laners here. The flash forward from Swolpingu, the Q will not hit as the Dragon is taken by Volibear on the other side of the map, but Frost Booty might find himself dying here as Shmoovin has arrived to join the fight as well. The bonk from Swolpingu will take that, and that is a solo kill. So the time from Shmoovin slightly wasted here.
And
However,
during
might
the
pop the Rift
engagement
Herald.
top, uh, Volibear was able to secure that dragon, so it will just be an objective trade for both teams.
The Rift Herald is
Except
popped here, so that'll be at least 3 plates. Volibear is coming up here. Swolpingu does not have the ult, does not have the flash, and is very low health. Running out here will be ulted by the Volibear and will fall. However, Shmoovin getting a lot of damage down onto Golden Bob. May get the kill, does not. The flash out from Volibear is enough to keep him alive.
however, there will be 4 plates in the top lane. So it is quite in danger of being taken. And I think once you open up the top side, I will be interested to see if they do any lane reassignments.
And largely as a result of those plates, we do see about a 900 gold deficit between these two junglers here in favor of Shmoovin. Meaning, looking for a hook onto a Loon, will land it, goes over the wall, the Flay lands, the exhaust out, no trap from the Caitlyn, and that will be a Loon able to get out here. The ult from Caitlyn is not quite enough, blocked by the Seraphine. And now it feels like almost like Courage isn't on the same page, the bot lane here, with Caitlyn not putting down traps during these hooks or flays.
Yeah, because the only way that they get a kill on a Seraphine Senna is from the initial burst. So you really need to start landing the traps when they are CC'd if you want to kill, I guess. Yeah.
We do see Olaf looking perhaps to lane gank here, is unseen in that center bush. The hook lands onto a Loon here, running out of health very quickly. The ult from Seraphine does not hit anyone. Shmoovin is going in. The double root lands, meaning running out of health very quickly. Forced to Zanyas here. As on the other side of the map, the ults come out from the top laners again. The same trade happening over and over and over. Frost Booty running out of health, down to 300, running towards Swolpingu's turret. The bonk does not land though. Pullback does, and that will be a kill from the passive burn. Swolpingu now 2 solo kills up against this Lilia.
It was unfortunate that I think everyone missed their ulti in the bot lane exchange. Unlucky.
Hey, Olaf cannot miss his ult. Mollywop's
Okay.
going in, but Gravity Field and the Volibear is enough to dissuade him.
That is a very close turret to be gone.
Would be a lot of gold in Swolpingu's pocket if you were able to take this before the 14-minute mark. However, the TP back from the Lilia is likely going to be enough to keep that from happening. That is the second recall cancel here on Mollywops. Really buying some extra time for himself is Shizumoto here.
Oh, it's another.
Another recall cancel?
Yep.
Poor Molly isn't able to go home. The ultimate in from Volibear drags the flash out from Galio. The hook in by meaning on a Loon will not be enough. Yes, it is. Nikita finally getting that last auto attack. Nitro forced to flash away, meaning continuing to go on the offensive here, but is caught up by the minions and will not get that kill.
Although they were able to get the kill, I still did not see the trap hit.
We do see Olaf moving up here into the top lane, looking perhaps to get that first turret down.
He's waiting for Lilia to walk up. He was able to get entrance into the bush.
However, red team was pinging that Olaf location right about when he came up. Frost Booty not playing defensive enough, forced to flash there as a combination of that Undertow and the Mordekaiser pull. However, this does seed a second Drake over to Courage.
So I feel like they will exchange Dragon for this Rift Herald. I think Luna is fine to give up these first few Drakes if they're able to get the plating and gold lead from the Rift Herald.
Once again, we see ult trades in the top lane. Swolpingu is going to have enough damage and will take down Frost Booty here. Down to about 300 health. May be forced to execute as Volibear is roaming up. Will try and back out of there in time. Volibear is on the warpath here. Looks like Swolpingu will get out safe.
If you are Olaf, where do you want to drop this Herald? I think mid would probably be a stronger target than top lane, mainly because top is already so close to dying.
I would agree. The only way I could see dropping at top being better is if you think you can force a second or even third charge out of it. And I don't see Luna being able to do that at this particular moment in time. So I would much prefer to see it drop mid or even bot. The bot turret here looks to be within charge range, so they could get this bot turret as well. However,
looks like they're going to force the 2v2 top lane.
Yeah, that's what it looks like here. Back is stopped by Frost Booty, but a lot of damage coming out onto that Lilia. Schmoovin forced to walk away, down to under 1,000 health here as well. The bot turret will be the first to fall. A bad reset timing from Team Courage does leave that open to being taken. And Luna does not miss the opportunity. Hook landing through the minions onto a Loon. The Flay lands as well. Box goes down, but Seraphine popped a wall early and will allow a Loon an exit. The charm lands onto both members. The hook landing back onto a Loon once again. The root does fall onto Nikita, and he will die to the Seraphine here, meaning forced to run away down to about 250 health. Will the Seraphine have enough to catch up here? The root does land, and Seraphine will slowly getting the kill here. A Loon, however, being teleported on by Shizumoto, and Nitrodax now in a poor spot. Galio roaming up to the top lane will not be joining this fight as Nitrodax is left to die to this Victor. And that is now a 3-kill Victor. Frost Booty does not fall to the last axe, will survive here. However, with that top turret likely to fall, there's a chance for Schmoovin to get a charge here onto that second tier top turret with that Rift Herald.
Well, they're kind of forced. Lilia is able to finally pick up her Leandres. And Victor was able to pick up 2 kills from that bot lane TP. And he's finished his Ludens, and I don't know how much gold he has right now. Let me look.
He is currently sitting on 1,600 gold, so we'll have a needlessly large rod and a book on back. I liked that fight from Luna early. They got the kill onto Nikita, and then they overchased.
I think the chase may have also been fun if Galio hadn't already started roaming top lane.
Yeah, exactly. It made it impossible for him to respond to the Victor short of TPing, which, having already roamed halfway to the top lane, he seemed loath to do.
But bot lane was able to pick up that the turret and double kill, so like
not the worst trade. Absolutely,
it's not the worst trade, but the fact that the kills got onto that Victor is a bit scary.
Victor does now have an 800 gold lead, not nearly as large as it had been in games previous, as the taunt lands from Mollywops here. Schmoovin is there as well. Undertow only lands onto Golden Bob, though. Misses the second time. Golden Bob taking a little bit of a slower route here. The gravity field will be blocked by the Ragnarok as Golden Bob falls here. The ultimate from Nitrodax will catch Shizumoto here. trying to get that lantern. The hook landing onto Mollywops, dragged under the turret here, will not fall to the tower shot as he pops that Zanya's, barely managing to survive. The laser from the Victor is not enough as Frostbooty and Swolpingu are fighting here in the top lane. Caitlyn finally deciding to join this fight, will be zoned out by a Loon though, and this wave is pushing into this tier 2 turret on the bot side. Looks like ZMG Luna is choosing to back off, but Shmoovin has found Nikita here on the other side of this wall. Mollywop's still very low, but Nikita will not follow up on the 90 caliber net, which could have had enough damage to kill Mollywops there.
It looks like they will also try to attempt to get this dragon.
Volibear's nowhere close. They should have this for free.
I think what's it called? Going for those early rifts did put them in a better spot at this point in the game, mainly because of the turret plate gold, and the gold went on both the bot lane and top lane.
And that has contributed to what is a 1200 gold lead in the top lane and effectively a composite 1800 gold lead in the bot lane. Senna is 1400 up, 1600 up rather on the Thresh, and Seraphine is 200 up on the Caitlyn. So top lane doing a little bit better overall, as I think we just saw a blue buff steal there. Yes, Golden Bob was able to steal that blue buff away from Shmoovin here, using the Hex Gates to get away.
With that being said, though, with having the Seraphine Senna lane mid against that Victor for a little while, as you can see with the sustain that they have, they, even though they were taking some Victor trade damage trades, it wasn't like horrendous like last game.
We do see now that Shizumoto has roamed to match Mollywops here in the side lane. Mollywops is down 800 gold, but doesn't seem to be struggling too badly against the Victor here.
And it seems that Seraphine is going the damage route, going Leandri's over Moonstone.
And she certainly hurts, taking about a third of Nikita's health with a single EQ trade.
With this is what Courage was a little bit afraid of. I think Luna's bot site has now started outscaling Courage's because they weren't really able to make use of the early hooks.
And of course, Swolpingu has done a great job of making himself problematic in that top lane, continuing to push up into the Lilia here.
That was some Senna damage.
That was fair and reasonable, right? We do see, however, Mollywops getting ganked by Golden Bob here. The taunt will land on a Golden Bob, but Mollywops is running out of health very quickly here. Golden Bob will get the stun, and that will be a kill. The shutdown going over to Victor. And in Riot's infinite wisdom, despite the Galio having already been down about 800 gold, he had a shutdown there. Olaf may be a little out of position here. Running away, will not be caught out by anyone, as the ult trade once again in the top lane seems to happen every time they are up. Frostbooty coming out on top of these early trades, but Swolpingu does have a fully charged shield ready to use.
Close out this game. Because they are currently ahead by about 4,000 gold. How do they try to close this game out?
I feel like the 1-3-1 is the answer, but Olaf has not done a great job of continuing to put Vision down. Well, not just the Olaf, but Luna as a team has not done a good job of putting Vision down. Obviously, the biggest part of a 1-3-1 is knowing where the enemy is so that you can protect those side laners. And we saw Mollywops get absolutely popped there by a unpredicted Volibear.
Well, are they trying to collapse on this Victor, or like what's happening here?
Looks like they're just getting some wards. Mollywops may have found Shizumoto over the wall here. The taunt will land. Mollywops is stunned, but the damage is there, and Nitro gets that kill.
Drake up. Let's lucky look.
Drake is up in about 45 seconds.
As a support main, I have my mini map at max size, so it actually covers up the objective timers. Unlucky.
See, some of us prefer reasonably sized HUDs.
Hey, but I'm still able to track the gank, so I think it's worth.
Fair enough. We do see, of course, more trading here in the top lane. The ult trade goes in. However, on the other side of the map, we get Mollywops going in for the taunt onto Golden Bob. Only gets the one, as the Seraphine ult does land onto 3. The root from the Frost will land onto Golden Bob as well, meaning trying to get some zoning here. Will manage to zone a little bit, but not enough to save Nikita as the TP finally comes out from Shizumoto. Will manage to scare ZMG Luna away, but that's about it. And they should be able to take the second Hextech Drake without any problems, as Frost Booty did fall on the top side of the map in the middle of that fight. Once again, losing the 1v1 to this Mordekaiser of Swolpingu.
That was a very lucky Seraphine ult, because it missed, but since it had hit her members in front, it was able to reach to the enemy. Feels good, man. Or I guess bad for Courage.
We do see this top turret down to less than a third health here already after one wave worth of damage.
I will say though, in this game, the bot lane on Luna seems to be a lot more in sync than the previous game.
Definitely doing a better job of talking with each other and keeping each other informed, it seems, compared to last game where they were definitely on 2 very different pages. Swolpingu stealing that red buff away, but might be a little overextended. Will have to take that Hex Gate to get out, as ZMG Courage trying to get some Baron Vision back here. With an 8,000 gold lead, you'd like to think that Luna is in control of this game, and so far it doesn't seem like there are many indications to the contrary. Unlike other games where they've kind of struggled to get to this point.
I will say though, they're on.
Ooh, Alun might be in a bad spot here. The flash does not go over the wall, and he does get caught out.
I don't know what I was gonna say is I will say though, for the Luna team, having Smoothen go in like he has been all game, his team is able to actually follow up and damage appropriately. However, was not so lucky for Alun there, who met 4 members to the face.
Yes,
I am kind of curious to see that even though they were able to make that pick onto the ADC support, whatever you want to call it, they decided to not pressure the Baron, in a 4v5 fashion. Instead, has sent 3 members to deal with Mordekaiser. A little confused.
To be fair, the Lilia sure can't deal with a Mordekaiser at this point.
Yeah, but like I feel like you should at least have been able to get control over Baron and clear out the vision. But
I'd certainly agree. I'd like to, if I weren't the one hosting the spectator for the stream, I would like to go back and see whether Alun, or where Alun's teammates were, because from what I remember, it looked like he had 2 or 3 members up by the blue buff when he died, so I'm not quite sure why he walked the way he did. Away from his team.
See, that's what happens when an ADC is tasked with
Meaning might find himself getting caught here, and he gets deleted by the combined might of 4 members of Luna. Shmoovin going all the way in on Shizumoto. The ultimate from Galio will not land on anyone, but Shizumoto will fall here to the last undertow. Golden Bob running out of health as well. The taunt will land before he goes over the wall, but not enough damage to follow up. And that is a 2-for-0 pick, dragging out 2 flashes as well from this ZMG Courage team. Swolpingu continuing to just bully the Lilia here. And it looks like Luna is looking at taking the Baron here. We'll go ahead and get that started. And I
look up this matchup, because I am not used to seeing a Mordekaiser into Lilia matchup.
Courage finally beginning to rotate over towards that Drake. Might be too little too late, as it will fall before Caitlyn gets into range.
Mordekaiser wins against Lilia 51% of the time, so it is fairly a skill matchup. with
However,
it being slightly Mordekaiser favored.
we also know the skill level of Swolpingu on this Mordekaiser. He showed it to us last week in game 2 against uh, Lotus Bloom.
Say though, although Mordekaiser is what 3,000, not 3,000, 3 kills up. That's 3 kills, not 3,000 kills. The Lily of CS is only what like
Only 15
seven.
down.
Yeah. So
However,
although not getting the kills, she is fairly staying in the game.
if we want to talk about CS difference, Jungler here about to get Flame Horizoned,
Oh.
which is incredibly rare for a jungler.
Well, he's been evading, I think. You know. I will say though, in the first game, the Olaf was banned against Smoovin.
Meaning gets rooted up here and will fall from over the wall. Luna is able to take him out.
And that should be the next Drake.
The third Hextech Drake, leading us to a potential 36-minute 4 Hextech Soul.
Okay, so we'll have to be a little safe here since he is currently trying to do a 1-4 split against Courage without pressure elsewhere on the map.
However, with Riftmaker Spirit Visage, it is very hard to kill this Mordekaiser. Schmoovin has caught out Frostbooty here, landing the Undertows back to back. Will choose not to go under turret as the 3 members in mid lane start to get that push off, getting some good damage onto that turret. That turret will fall instantly here. The root landing onto Golden Bob as well, and he will fall to Mollywops here. Pressure all over the map is paying off for Luna.
I think that's very smart to do a 1-3-1 split with the Baron buff. And both Mordekaiser and Olaf are fairly safe to be by themselves. Mordekaiser can always ult the one person he doesn't want to verse, like he is currently doing, and try to walk away.
Goes ahead and ults Meaning here, getting a little bit of damage down. Will come out of Brazil here, but the rest of CM Luna has arrived. Shizumoto finds himself at the wrong end of some CC. And that will be 2 inhibitors and not quite the 3rd inhibitor turret taken. The Seraphine ult lands onto 1. The channeled stun will land as well, and that's going to be Nikita going down. Frostbooty able to just barely survive as Golden Bob and Meaning are running out of health here very quickly as well. Meaning in the fountain, able to drag Schmoovin in, will get that kill thanks to the help of Fountain Laser. But the rest of Luna is worried more about the Nexus turrets than the fight. Golden Bob will fall here. Frostbooty managing to get the kill onto Mollywops, but will fall in return as Meaning is the only member left alive and will not be able to stop this game from ending. And that
And
is
this
a
will take us
win for
to
Luna.
a third game.
Yes, indeed. Game 3 is required to determine which of these 2 teams is superior here. Definitely feels like Luna found their groove in that one, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think one of the main differences between the previous game and this game was with Smeven is a very hyper aggressive jungler, and they picked a team comp that can actually handle his dives.
The question then becomes, if you're Courage and you want to win game 3, do you go back to banning the Olaf?
I think honestly, the Olaf was a really good pick within Smeven because he was able to get in and out. Like, you know what I mean? Like with the Olaf ulti, it's both can be used offensive or defensive, depending on the situation that he is in.
So do you think then that uh, Courage will ban it away from him to keep him from having the same impact in game 3?
I think that they will prioritize an Olaf ban over that Twitch. Did we want to try to interview Malice at the end, or in the in between time?
Yeah, if we can get Malice in between these, or
The
either
loading time.
as we wait for game 3's draft to start or
Let me
between
find him
draft and game. if you're Courage here, do you think they regret the Lilia top choice to try and deal with the Mordekaiser,
I mean,
given how heavily it backfired?
I think in theory that it was an okay matchup. I mean, it's at a slight deficit, but like I think it's I mean, you saw what the thought behind it was when Mordekaiser ult Lilia just ults him and then kind of laughs while he can't really do much in his own realm.
Absolutely.
However, I do think that Smoothen did pressure top more than Bob, which is where I think part of that pressure uh made the one side a little bit more. And I have confirmation we can interview Malice after he's done with the draft.
Fabulous. Which means then that we will likely be getting into draft pretty soon here.
I just got the link.
Yep. Well, it's good to see some nice parity between our two gold level teams here, between Courage and Luna. Okay, good talk.
Oh,
While we wait for these two teams to get set up for Game 3 draft, is there anything else that you want to comment on
oh,
uh, from Game 2 here?
surprised. I'm kind of surprised that they drafted the Caitlyn for Nikita because typically in the past she's performed a lot better on scaling ADCs, and as we know, Caitlyn is very um early game dependent. I feel like for how relevant she is. Um, and then
However, they did show some good aggression, meaning was very aggressive on that Thresh trying to get the Caitlyn ahead. So it wasn't a lost cause from the start. Just didn't
really pan out well.
exactly.
Well, the thing is I feel like on Courage side, they really did not have an answer for the Olaf if when he's ulting, right? Like, I felt like they weren't really able to burst him down low enough to kill him without that CC.
Very fair.
I do expect an Olaf ban this game, though.
Well, we shall see what happens. In the meantime, as these two teams get everything set up in the lobby here, no, it does appear that these teams are ready for draft, so I will bite my tongue.
I mean, like, I guess they're more concerned with the coaches have to be ready for draft, not necessarily the team in the correct spots on the in the game.
One would think. Well, instead of going to break, then we will hold for just a second here in case these teams are ready to get started on draft.
I don't think Anubis will be able to be in here. And first again, the correct order. Well, I don't know, because if meaning goes back over, then it should be enough.
Well, we will let them figure that out. What do you expect to see from Game 3, just based on what we saw in the first couple of games here?
I will say though, I expect the Luna to draft again, or kind of around the hyper aggressive jungler, so that they're able to more team fight effectively. And then I expect Courage to have the basic front to back team comp. Basic really isn't the correct term, but like, the standard.
Yeah.
But I could be proven wrong. They could do something really spicy for all I know. I do think that Mordekaiser might be a prio pick for both teams this game, if it is left open. Since we've seen that both sides are willing to play Mordekaiser.
Looks like the teams have just about got the lobby sorted. So we may be about ready here on draft. We hope.
Likely. I believe. Hmm.
We will continue to wait and hope, I suppose.
I expect I honestly think the prio pick for Courage should be Mordekaiser. Because it seems like both teams didn't really have a good answer for the Mordekaiser.
If you're Luna, then do you consider banning it so that it isn't taken on first pick here?
I'm not sure. Because most teams will not first pick at top lane, but I think, considering just looking at both games, that Mordekaiser is a prio pick.
I would absolutely agree. Not quite sure what we're holding on at the moment here.
I'm also curious to see if they let the Seraphine Senna go through, because that was also a pretty strong bot lane.
Seraphine Sona might be a little bit weaker of a bot lane here. Alrighty, we are ready on draft.
Senna, not Sona.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yes, the Seraphine Sona would be a weaker bot lane.
No, I am, yeah. Oh, there's the Rengar Bane. Okay. Next is gonna be Olaf, I think.
Looks like we are instead going to see the Lulu ban. The Victor coming out from Luna, not wanting to face that for a third time. And Jin is taken off the table, leaving both Olaf and Mordekaiser available. It would be a very aggressive choice, but given how powerful the picks were in Game 2, is there any shot that Luna takes that 1-2 if Courage doesn't pick it up in the first spot here?
I'm getting PM'd elsewhere.
We do see, incidentally, the Senna ban from Luna in the final slot, and the Olaf is picked up by Courage here, not wanting to give that over and giving it more priority than the Mordekaiser. Luna now has to decide how to respond to that and what they are going to blind pick here. The Wukong is being hovered. Another dive champ would fit Schmoovin very well, and Nautilus is picked up for maining. Or not for maining, rather, for
Meaning, right? No.
no,
No,
Nitro.
Nitro, that's Nitro.
Yes.
It looks like they will respond with the Wukong pick with the Olaf. Two pretty strong junglers. Both are very good at dueling.
And we do see that Courage is going to take a try on this Twitch. You did say that Nikita was better at scaling champions, so Twitch will be a good choice for her. And for the final pick of the first half, Courage choosing the Sona. A champion
Think
that is very strong once she hits those 120 stacks.
I will say though that typically with Twitch, you typically want either a Lulu or a Yumi, but um,
Lulu was not available, but Janna and Yumi both were available. The other two strong enchanters at the moment. And we do see the Samira being the final pickup from Luna here. Bit of a curveball.
I will say though, depending on how early game goes, the Nautilus Samira is a fairly strong pick. Um, Samira is one of Aloon's like top ADCs. So if they are able to get the Wombo CC combo off, they should be in a good spot.
We do see the Mordekaiser ban coming out in the second round, not being picked up in the first round. Now Luna will not get the chance to. Lissandra is the choice in the mid lane for Luna. You at all surprised by this decision?
um, Going for it looks like Luna's team comp is really going for that Wombo combo. Except after watching the previous game, I honestly think the Galio is a little bit more of a better pick than Lissandra. Lissandra can be very easily punished, I guess, with like a ranged damage dealer mid lane.
And in terms of ranged damage dealer mid lanes, you can't get much more ranged or damage dealer than both Anivia and Xerath.
I think if you pick a Lissandra pick, you don't want to blind that. But I mean, it should be fine in the grand scheme of things, depending on how the early game goes. Because if Lissandra is able to get onto Xerath, it should be fine. It's just the process between getting from Lissandra getting onto the Xerath. And it looks like they will pick the set for the counter matchup top lane against Orin. So that will be an Olaf jungle.
Well, looking at these two team comps, how are you feeling about how Game 3 is going to shape up?
I feel like it's really Orin wins 54% of the time in two set.
So, picking less for the lane and more for the
team. I think okay, in a straight on team fight, I think if Luna's able to take out the prio picks early, like the Twitch, the Xerath, the Sona, you know what I mean? Like if they're able to target correctly, they should be fine. However, if it's a more of a delayed fight and not Luna, Courage is able to sustain with the Sona heals, I think they will win the team fight.
Alrighty. Well, now that we are through picks and bans here, we will likely be getting Malice here in just a couple of moments to join us for a short interview as we wait for the game to begin. So if you're in Twitch chat and have any questions for Team Courage's coach, please put them in the chat now.
And then if you are in fact Malice, hop up into the waiting lobby and we'll pull you up.
He may wait for just an extra second to make sure that they pick and ban all the right champions. Wouldn't want to have to remake the lobby after getting halfway through draft, right?
Oh, I'm about to drag him in. Hello.
Whoa!
Welcome to the casting desk.
Great to be here.
So how are you feeling about last game, and how are you going to kind of change your strategy this game?
So, I mean, to be upfront, we've been more or less outdrafted the entire night. I think we got through game one due to a few oversights on the other team, and game two, it was a series of misposition and misplays that accumulated to our eventual defeat. In this game, we tried to have a more intentional strategy, and we saw that with the plan with the Sona Twitch idea. The original plan was to take Lulu there, but we were strongly encouraged Sona, and so we decided we wanted to take the Lulu away from them. We didn't want to give them the ability to play hyper carry here. So we did have some intention and design, but due to some of the restrictions that we had with our champ pools, I think we have a bit of a janky comp here. I would definitely say again that the enemy team has an advantage, but I don't think I do not believe we are without a way out. I believe we have the opportunity to flip this. I think the plan is to look for a counter engage. We're looking to absorb because we know their composition was to dive into us. If we can stack resources onto the Olaf, they don't really have a way to get past him. We have a lot of carry potential with the Twitch. We've got late game potential with the Olaf. And so it comes down to the inner mechanics of the team fight, and can we disrupt them or prevent them from doing what they want to do? If they can get their successful engages with the Nautilus, Samira, or with the Wombo combo with Samira and Wukong, or with the set engage knocking the Orin back into a bad position, or Lysandra getting on one of our carries, I think we're going to have a bad time. But if we can prevent that, then I think it's going to be a repeat of the first game.
Because I mean, the Sono does add a lot more sustain to your team versus just having like a Nautilus. It's kind of up to them on how they position and sustain through a fight.
I think it comes down to the laning phase and where the resources go. I have a big concern with Nautilus Samira into Twitch Sona in the sense that if they get a successful hook, there is a high likelihood of there being a death on my team. That said, when you play a ranged matchup into a melee matchup like that, they want to trade early. They want to prevent the Nautilus from having the opportunity to take an engage, because if he engages when he's at half health or below, they're going to open themselves to a parallel trading situation where it's a 1v2. Our bot lane is going to have two people onto the Nautilus. They can kill him and then turn to the Senna. So if they play it out early and they poke him and they keep him low so he can't engage, I think they're going to survive the lane phase, and that's what my bot lane needs to do here. If they can get to the team fighting phase, Sona and Twitch are both going to be exponentially better. Their bot lane right now is a much stronger laning team, and they're much stronger in the early game than our bot lane is.
Do you have any plans to help deal with the counter or the invading? Because it seems like Smeven has invaded Golden Bob like every game early.
So I did talk about a strategy with him on that in the first game, which was anticipating Rek'Sai is the champion that wants to look for early skirmishes. They want to invade. They can easily get over walls. It is very typical for Rek'Sai to do that. So one thing you can do to prevent that is to clear on the same side so that they have to make a cross map diagonal um, pathing to do that, which forces them to overextend and gives you more time to prepare and more time to punish them, more time to respond. Game two, that didn't work out so well because Olaf took an atypical path. He took two clears and went right into it, which is very bizarre for him. Olaf typically does not invade that early, so that did catch us by surprise. And the Olaf did the right thing by waiting for the Volibear to expend his resources to use his slow, use his shielding and burst, and then get sandwiched between a uh, 1v2 situation in the sense that he has taken damage from the buff and from the Olaf. He had an escape from there, and we talked about how he could have used his flash into terrain. If he would have walked into the pit and flashed over the wall, Olaf would not have been able to follow. He would have been able to regroup with the mid laner, and then we could have seen a 3v1 collapse to punish the Olaf and take the temple for ourselves. In this game, I do not believe Wukong is going to attempt another invade. It is possible this player really likes to do that, but I believe Olaf is going to win the 1v1 trade there. And if this jungler fails to take his lead, I feel like they are going to flounder like they did in the first game. The first game, he was able to get off his strategy, but he wasn't able to execute it or take it anywhere or do anything with it. And that was one of the biggest flaws in the team comp that they had the first time. Was he needed to be ahead, he needed to be dominating. He was the only engage they had, and they weren't able to pick successful fights with him come the mid and the late game in game one. I think here he's in a similar position that they need him to do well, but they do have additional forms of knockup. And so if he fails, he might be able to fall back on just default ulting in the team fights. Um, but I feel like he's going to fall behind, and he's going to feel pressured, and he's going to crumble. This player, wants to look good, which is why he's taking very aggressive plays. He's obviously a tryout today, and so he's trying to make an impression. I think the first game roused him. The second game, I think he shined very, very brightly, so he's probably feeling confident right now. But if he makes a mistake, his insecurities are going to come back, and he's going to be much more prone to making mistakes. And I'm hoping that's what my team capitalizes on.
One last question here as we get into game. You mentioned that you struggled a bit in this particular draft with some limited champion pools. How, if at all, are you planning on mitigating that when you move into competitive play once Courage finds some tournaments and leagues to be a part of?
So to mitigate that issue, it's with two lanes in particular. I guess three actually. The bot lane as a whole and the mid lane. The mid lane right now, I'm working with him one on one. We're developing and expanding his champ pool. Right now, we currently have a champ pool of 7, but um, of that 7, we have maybe 2 to 3 in which we're very confident on, which leaves some vulnerability there. The Victor pick is very strong. The Ari pick, they have been taken away from him. And without those 2 picks, we're a bit iffy on some of the other options. Xerath is one he's very confident in, but I'm pushing him to learn Anivia. I'm pushing him to learn Vel'Koz, as a more control style seems to perform very well on him. And so if I can expand that, his confidence in those 7 chance we have for him, I think we'll have more versatility. As far with the bot lane, there's just a disagreements on drafting styles with one particular player and the other player. They are a recent addition to the team, and so I need to get a better understanding of their champ pool and see how they interact. I think that with a bit of time and practice, we can come up with a winning strategy for them. They're just our ADC is used to having another support right now. These two haven't played a whole lot together, and there was a lack of preparation coming into this with having an extensive and exhaustive list of the supports that my support player does. When I have a list like this, I'm able to go over and check some of the synergies between laners, and you can see this in the opposing teams' draft styles. They in game one and this game here, they drafted bot lanes that had very high synergy and are very commonly known. Many people know that Nautilus and Samira do very well together. Many people know that Twitch and Lulu do well together. It's kind of bread and butter, like Senna and Tom, or Lucian and Nami. Like very common matchups that you'll see a lot in competitive play and in amateur play.
We do see Shmoovin invading here. Sorry to cut you off. I do apologize. Getting a lot of damage onto Bob. Down to less than 100 health. The flash over the wall, and First Blood goes onto Shmoovin
once
here.
again.
Well, the exact thing you hoped not to see happen here.
That's exactly what happened. Yep.
Well, before we let you
I
go,
hope it's a learning opportunity for him.
if you were in the call with Courage right now, how would you tell them to get out of this hole that they've been put in with that successful early invade from Schmoven?
I would tell them to assess their goals and their power spikes with their composition. Right now, they have a very weak early game. So Olaf should be looking to farm, and they should be looking to mitigate damage, get up defensive warding, and look for an opportunity to make a pick. Right now, they want to play reactive. They're not going to be in a proactive state in the game. And so if they play defensively and they're looking for their opportunities while waiting for their power spikes, an opportunity is sure to show itself and they can capitalize on it.
Very sage advice. Thank you for joining us, Malice. We have enjoyed chatting with you and have gotten some very enlightening responses. We appreciate you joining us here on the Casting Deck.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. And that we see Lysandra potentially getting caught up with the Olaf Zerath combo.
Will fall to the axe max range.
It also seems that bot lane has been both very aggressive
Flash
as
onto Nikita here as a Loon flashing forward as well. The immediate exhaust coming out from Nitro. Will find Nikita here? Yes! However, Golden Bob is here. Meaning gets hooked. Will fall to Nitro as well, and Olaf is the only man alive, but will manage to take down Nitro. Loon is all alone here. Will he be able to solo Golden Bob? No! Golden Bob gets the double kill here onto the bot lane, and that is a 2 for 2. And a slightly fed Olaf.
which is fairly good considering he just died to the jungle invade. However, he's been putting work around the map and ganked both mid and bot lane successfully.
Yeah, despite the early invade success, Schmoven did not take advantage of the early flash blown by Shizumoto in pre-minions, or the level 1 or 2 flash blown by Nikita. Did not gank either of those lanes early, so did not take advantage of those known timers.
Which I think kind of goes along to what we were talking about earlier, where Wukong kind of wants to power farm to hit his power spikes. Because I mean, his ulti is a very big ability.
Very much fight changing.
And bot lane was able, although they died to the Olaf, it was a very close fight.
Olaf once again in the area though, as Nitro is being aggressive, does not find any target to hook on, and will back off here. But Olaf is moving in for another gank potentially here. There's no vision from the red side. This is completely blind, and Nitro may find himself a Golden Bob. Will find it, and the undertow lands. The second undertow lands, but the hook is enough to get him out potentially here. The slow from Meaning will land, but Wukong is in the area. The hook does not land thanks to a flash by Meaning, and that will be a trade of Summoner Spell for a whole lot of health off of Nitro.
I will say though, although kind of compared to the first game, him being on Nautilus allowed him not to completely die there. Because if he was that Lulu, that would have been definitely a kill over to the Olaf.
Absolutely. We do now have the Nautilus moving with the Wukong, leaving the Samira alone. Comes back down, finds Meaning here, will fall to a Loon. Schmoven has to give up this Drake though, with the roam from Shizumoto. Mollywop's choosing not to match here. Schmoven coming out of health very quickly. Blue team does slay the dragon. Schmoven forced to flash away to survive, but Nautilus takes the kill onto Golden Bob, and that will be a 2 for Drake. A very good start for this bot lane here if you are ZMG Luna. And a strong start in the top lane as well. Despite not having any kills, this set is up 15 CS.
I just found it interesting that Lysandra did not rotate down for that Drake fight. I guess maybe they just thought it was already over.
Swole Pingu running out of health here. The Orn ult does connect, as the set ult did not. Pingu regenning health courtesy of that set passive will not be enough. Frost Booty flashes forward to get that brittle passive stack and secure the kill here.
And with that, any CS lead that he had is now evened out.
Completely gone. It does appear as well that Golden Bob is looking to take this Herald here. Wukong is in the area and may sniff this out, though. Does appear that the Vision Cone will spot this. Olaf forced to back away here, as Lysandra does have roam priority. Xerath is moving up, though, so they may choose to take this fight. Stun does not land onto Lysandra, and that's a long cooldown this early in the game. Olaf continuing to stay here, might be thinking about trying to get a steal, but with Set roaming down as well, this would be a lost fight. Looks as if they're going to just give this Rift Herald over to Luna.
Say though, blue side is being very aggressive in this bot lane, which is fine. It's just they need to be a little bit more aware of their positioning in respects of a Nautilus hook and the minions.
Well,
Although they haven't gone in yet, there was a few times I saw Twitch kind of in front of the minion line where
the
if
flash
Nautilus
forward here. Hook lands onto Nikita. The auto attack from Nautilus will root him again. Nikita down to about 400 health. The Samira ult comes out. One falls, two falls, and that's a 2 for 0. The Xerath ult popped will not find any kills. And just as you were saying, the punishment comes through.
how aggressive blue side was being there. We saw the consequences of being that far up. Do we have like?
And I was going to say before that kill, blue side really had no right being that aggressive, given that they were already down 1,400 gold on the ADC. Schmoven is here. The ult from Swole Pingu does not connect thanks to the unstoppable. Second knockup will land. The pull from Swole Pingu will grab the Ornn this time. Ornn running out of health very quickly, but will manage to just barely limp away with about 100 health remaining.
Why is the set ulti not bringing the Ornn back?
It's during the W cast for Ornn, he is unstoppable. Well, so he is unstoppable. He does not get displaced.
That being said, do you think Pingu needs to start trying to time his ulti better? Because that's the second ulti that has not gone through so far this game.
I think it is definitely a misplay by Pingu, because both of those ults have been cast long after he saw the W animation begin. So unless he was trying to use that as a disengage tool, to use the fact that the Ornn is unstoppable to get the little bit of extra distance that he doesn't have anywhere else in his kit, I think it's definitely a misplay from Pingu. However, that second fight in particular, I do think could be argued to have been a disengage, trying to buy enough time for the jungler to get there. Looks like this set will be going with an aggressive build, perhaps building towards the Blade of the Ruined King, as he has the Vamp Scepter already. The Ornn ult comes out. Set running out of health very quickly here, will fall without the ability to pop his Grit. Alun, forced to use that Samira ult, will fall to the Twitch Poison, but everyone on blue team is running out of health very quickly. Mollywops does manage to come down and will get 3 kills to 1 here. Xerath joining with the ult, able to help secure the 1, which went over to Twitch, and we'll get some time on this turret. But now, with the Wukong roaming over, will get the... No, does not have his ult quite yet. Has about 5 seconds left on the ult. That is unfortunate. With a knockup, he might have had time to secure that kill. That being said, it should be a free Drake over to ZMG Luna here.
Did they take it quick enough? I mean, the blue is on the way.
Blue is on the way. However, Schmoven does have upgraded Smite, so we'll be able to secure it here.
I mean,
Nitro
that was kind of
able to zone Nikita, but perhaps going a little bit too aggressive, as 4 members of Courage are available. Samira is in the area, but this is still a 2v4. Wukong is nowhere near. The stun lands onto Alun, forced to dash through, and will be a sacrifice here, going over to Shizumoto.
That's unfortunate for Olin. He's just like, my Nautilus, he's in danger, let me help. Oh wait, I'm in danger.
Wukong forced to pop the Rift Herald here in mid lane for fear of losing it. Will lose a lot of health, but will not die as a result of it. Might get a charge off here. Let's take a look. Will get one charge and 2 plates into his pocket here.
I think it's very important to start opening mid lane. The Lysandra rooms will be very important, as well as transitioning bot lane into mid lane so that Nautilus can get the rooms off too.
The Nautilus looking for a hook here will not find meaning, but does manage to zone Courage way off. The second hook lands, meaning down to about 300 health. The Sona ult lands onto 2. Spray and pray doing next to no damage here. And Luna choosing to disengage after having dragged out both ults at the cost of nothing. Looking in
It
this
seems
bush.
like I will say that Twitch currently has Weza, Blade of the Rune King, to Samira's
Hook forces the flash out. He currently has Ruin King and Brown Bags to Shield Bow, Serrated Dirk, and Tabbies. That's a massive item advantage for the Samira.
This set is just not having a good time top lane.
Getting some damage down. Schmoovin is here. Will manage to get the knock up onto Frost Boy, or Frost Booty. Does get that kill in trade, but Schmoovin now running out of health. Forced to use the W to try and escape. Will not be enough. Golden Bob will chase him down under the turret and will survive the turret shots. However, in the bot lane, Luna has forced Nikita and Meaning out of this lane and might be able to get the turret here. Golden Bob forced to pop that ultimate to survive Mollywops. Might not have enough health here. The lifesteal is doing so much work and the kill will be traded there.
However, I do think it's kind of worth for the Lysandra because I think she just got it shut down. Like, let me look.
She did get a 300 bounty shutdown for a total of 600 gold there. And with the death of that bot turret, Alune and Nitro are able to roam a little bit more, which could cause some headaches for the other lanes.
I'm like, at roaming Nautilus is kind of scary. Especially with kind of how immobile, other than maybe the Olaf is.
Speaking of immobile, Xerath is here. If they choose not to finish this recall, and they do cancel the recall, this could be a dangerous situation for the Xerath here. However, roaming to the top side of the map, unbeknownst to him, taking him safely away from that Nautilus and Samira who are waiting there. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, looks like a collapse onto this Ornn is imminent. Wukong is available. Xerath is roaming up. Now Nautilus and Samira are coming to try and catch this Xerath unawares while he is in his ult. Frostbooty will be the first to fall here as the hook lands onto the Xerath. Samira going in there, getting some damage, and will get that kill. 2 for 0 there.
I think they also get the Rift Herald.
Yes, the Rift Herald is taken by the Wukong.
Uh,
Hopefully used a little bit more intentionally than the first one was.
Dragon is about to spawn, so it looks like Olaf is trying to get vision pressure around it.
We'll get the vision pressure, however. Swolpinku has the teleport available, will get a lot of damage on this top turret, and that bot wave is pushed very far in, so will
What
not
is
have
that
any support.
turret damage? Like, that's like a full health turret that just kind of went poof.
Well, he does have a
Not a
Bork.
Is that the Bork damage?
It's a combination of Bork sets 2-hit passive and his Q auto attack reset, which grants him 4 autos in quick succession. Set does a lot of turret damage. Wukong engaging on the Olaf here, forced to go out over the wall, and no spells or cooldowns wasted here from blue team. They get the TP coming in from Ornn, counter TP from Set, and the rest of ZM Luna going in on this Ornn. will not quite get the kill. Alun trying to survive. The Olaf will manage to do so, but will fall to the Xerath. Nikita falling as well as Mollywops is zoning Shizumoto and Meaning, and that will be a 3-for-1 right now. Xerath looking to perhaps get some damage over the wall, but Nitro is there, Meaning still in the area, but only has about 300 health. The Nautilus ult will be popped onto Meaning. Nitro flashing forward there as Shizumoto and is facing off against Swolpingu and Mollywops and will fall. Sona fighting this Nautilus, trying to get away, will use the Blast Cone and will be able to get enough separation to escape. However, that is a second Drake over to ZMG Luna. And a 4-for-1.
And this should be the mid turret? Nope, maybe not. Maybe I spoke too soon.
However, it is certainly on its last legs. There's one tiny brick holding that turret from dying. A stiff breeze will knock it over, so does not offer much support to ZMG Courage here.
Again, the bot side of Courage is pushing up, which is a little scary considering they don't know where Nautilus or Wukong is.
And they're down 2,500 gold on each member. Which is, just a little bit of gold.
It looks like Sona has not finished her Mythic, and Twitch right now just has the Borg and Noon Crover. Versus the Immortal Shilpo and Collector completed on Samira.
Also worth noting that Twitch is still running brown bags, while Alun has finished those tabbies. Or plated steel caps, I'm sorry. I've been playing too long, I still remember the old ways.
What you meant. I'm like, yeah, ninjas. Totally. I get it. Oh, and I was like, wait, I don't think that's what it's called anymore, but
Schmoovin might find himself at the wrong end of a fight here as he is being surrounded by 4 members. Does barely manage to get out, however, summons the Rift Herald in an unfortunate spot. Will not get a charge off as that Rift Herald gets stuck in Grump.
I didn't know if he meant to drop it there or if he was trying to sweep.
I feel like he had to have been trying to sweep there, as we now see 4 members of Luna going in here. The immediate ult out of Schmoovin will knock up Bob, forcing out that Ragnarok. Frostbooty does not manage to land the second charge of his ult. Alun popping the ultimate will not survive Golden Bob here, as Schmoovin takes out Twitch on the backside of this fight. Nitro running out of health, forced to run away, as Xerath takes down the Wukong as well. Golden Bob and Nitro continuing to fight on the backside of this fight, but it is a 2v3 and Nitro does not have any friends. The kill will be gifted over. No, it will be taken by the Olaf.
And then the sole survivor of Luna is just Molly with Belisandra.
I feel like
or
that.
4-4-2.
I feel like that invade was completely unnecessary. I'm not quite sure why Luna decided to go that hard in on that fight.
They also separated very oddly. I think if they had stayed together, they would have at least gotten another kill. But
Shizumoto might be on the wrong side of Mollywops here. The flash root comes out. The roots continue. Mollywops does not have quite enough damage without that ult, though. And Shizumoto will walk away.
We'll be able to walk away. They take that turret shot, though. That was a little scary.
Turret shots do hurt quite a bit. However, not quite enough to secure that kill.
Well, currently, the only person with a bounty is the Lysandra with the 500 gold bounty. And it looks like Nautilus is pinging for the Baron, so I feel like there might be a Baron play approaching. Okay.
Just a scouting hook.
Just trying to make sure no one's in that bush,
I will say, to Courage's credit, despite the gold and pressure advantage from Luna, Meaning is doing a great job of controlling vision, having nearly double the vision score of Dax here.
And apparently, Smoovin's just playing a game of hide and seek.
will manage to dodge out courtesy of that blast cone. Set beginning to become a split-pushing menace here. Will start hitting that top tier 2 turret as the ult from Wukong lands onto 2, instantly stunned in return. The hook from Nitro lands on nobody as Alun cancels the Ornn ult. Mollywop's going in, lands the root onto 4, but there's 5 members of Courage here. Sewer Skewers start to do damage, but Alun able to assassinate the Twitch in the backline as Sona falls as well. Alun managing to stay alive courtesy of that ult, and Golden Bob and Frost Booty will fall as well, leaving Xerath the only member alive. And that is a 4-for-0 and a free Ocean Drake here for Luna. However, Shizumoto deciding to stick around here, being perhaps a little bit bold, trying to get a sneaky steal over the wall. Does not quite manage it.
Props, but he's definitely not in a great position here without Nahlis and Samira looking for him.
I would like to draw your attention topside, where Swolpingu has just taken an inhibitor turret, did not participate in that fight, and yet his team managed a 4-for-0 in the 4v5.
That the Samira shield kind of coming in clutch, blocking off the Ornn ult.
Absolutely, very well played by Alun. They're going to get this bot tier 2 turret here as well, it looks like, before ZMG Courage is able to respond. Looks like they will get out just fine. However, Samira passing the wrong way, forced to make a hasty retreat to avoid running into 3.
And with that, do you think Luna will be able to close out this game before that Sona Twitch starts becoming a problem?
Given that this Twitch is currently 5,000 gold down, I don't think he's in range of becoming a problem anytime soon. Still has not completed his second item. Meanwhile, Samira has finished off that Infinity Edge, now sitting at 3 full items plus components. So, unless Luna lets Courage stall this game for another 15-20 minutes, Twitch is no longer a factor in this game.
I will say, though, with the Ornn lead from earlier on, the fact that Set's just been able to free push the side waves while Ornn's been trying to group with his team, he now is down about 40 CS.
And about 1,700 gold. In fact, the only lane that has a gold lead is the Olaf, and he is only up about 300 gold. So Courage is definitely on the back foot here. I also want to highlight, I know I called out meaning in a positive
Why are we
light.
collapsing on bot with Baron up? Wait a minute.
4 out of 5 members showing on Swolpingu, who is able to just flash over the wall. And ZMG Luna makes the right call, immediately turning on to Baron. And Courage is very slow to respond here.
Wait
With
a minute.
this vision difference as well. Courage does not know that this is going on. They have no vision anywhere in the top side of the map.
They have a feeling, I bet, but like...
And that's going to be a Baron taken without any response here. Courage is only just now getting in range, and too little too late. That is a Baron take in exchange for an mid-outer turret.
Yeah, because they weren't even able to get the kill onto the set. With Baron up, they really can't have their jungle showing bot side. That was a bit troll.
And I do want to mention that I praised meaning earlier. However, red team's control of the blue buff side of blue team's jungle is currently exquisite.
Wait a minute. How does Nautilus only have a 32 vision score? Wait a minute.
I am not entirely sure. That seems wrong.
I think it's just because they're just killing. They're not warding. They're just going in.
Now Courage is on the back foot here. Despite only 4 out of the 5 members of Luna pushing, they are having to swap members back and forth between these lanes and are losing turrets on both sides of the map. Swolpingu starting to do some serious damage to Frost Booty, but the stun lands onto Alun. The Immortal Shield Bow keeps him alive here from Shizumoto's damage, but down to about 700 health as Shmoovin goes in hard, manages to cancel that Wukong, or the Xerath ult, but will pay for it with his life. The kill going over to Nikita as Golden Bob going forward hard will die as Swolpingu is zoning the rest of ZMG Courage. The ult coming in, slamming down onto Nikita, taking him down by about 2/3 health. Frost Booty will fall, Nikita will fall, Meaning will fall, and Shizumoto is the only survivor, but not for long. Alun exhausts him and will try and take the kill here, running out of health very quickly, but does manage to survive with just a sliver of health, takes down the Xerath, and likely ends this game with 20-second timers. That will be the Nexus exploding here. Luna taking game 3 and winning this series in a reverse sweep 2-1.
Oh, okay. The fancy flash at the end. I see you.
Well, thoughts on game 3?
Uh, it was interesting.
Okay, would you like to elaborate a little bit more on that, or are we just
I,
going
I'm
with
trying.
interesting?
I'm trying to think of my response. Um, I think there were points in which Courage was ahead, especially around the top side. However, Set, I think since the beginning planned on split pushing like he did, they weren't really able to answer him, especially with what happened bot lane. I think bot lane was playing very aggressive considering the better laning opponents, which was the Nautilus Samira. I think if they played a little bit safer and back towards their turret, they may have been able to scale better into the mid to late game. However, on the side of um on Luna, I felt like although Wukong was getting things done by doing those invades, there were many a times when like if Courage was just slightly faster, they would have been able to punish him.
If you're Luna, though, on the plus side, you can take away from this that your team has learned how to end games, which is something that they have struggled with previously. But in the last 2 games of that series, they took leads early and they made those leads count, which I think is a very good change if you're Luna's coaches and players. Any other comments from you regarding Game 3 or the series at large between Courage and Luna?
Um, I'm proud of both teams. They gave it their all in both of the other games, and Courage was still able to get a win. Especially since I know both teams, both Luna and Courage, have been going through some roster changes. I'm proud of both teams. They both showed up, and they weren't easy games.
No, absolutely not. These were hard-fought games. Both teams had chances to win it many moments throughout each game, and we're definitely glad to have both of them in our org, right?
Did we want to do another interview, or do you think?
If either of the coaches are available after debriefing their teams, that would be lovely. However, I don't want to pull them away from post-match talks with their teams. So we can put out some feelers, and while we are waiting to see if we are getting an interview, we will hop into a very short break. With any luck, we will be right back with an interview with one of these coaches. Don't go anywhere.
Oh.
Welcome back, folks. We are joined by Mollywops here, Team Luna's mid laner. Congratulations on the 2-1 victory there, Molly.
Thank you. Thank you.
We had.
With that,
Thanks for having me.
Please go right ahead.
I'm sorry.
I said, with that being said, how was mid lane these 3 games? What were some
Uh,
pros and cons, I guess, on how you're feeling?
well, I realized real quickly that he likes to farm very heavily, so it was a very relaxing laning phase for me. First game, he came back with 2 to 4 kills, so it was a little more rough. Second game, I just played Galio, and well, it's pretty hard for Victor to kill Galio. Uh, Third game, uh, I had the redemption Lissandra game, so I was feeling pretty good. About 10-15 minutes into that game.
For a minute, I actually thought you built redemption. I was like, wait, did I miss that?
That would have been a decision. I think Glorious and Chino would have had some words for you if you had done that.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
Um, so how
So,
was like the comms and everything in the second game after losing the first?
Uh, Comms were okay. We quickly understood our mistakes in the first game, and we just needed to prioritize where we went wrong in the first game, and we transitioned it into the second and third game, and that helped us take control of objectives much easier.
obviously, the final decision will come down to Chino and Glors, but as a player, how are your opinions of the prospective jungler and support that you are playing with this evening? How'd you feel they
Of
meshed with the team and all?
of my jungler in support, or of the other teams?
The jungler for their team was the coach.
The
Wait,
support for our team was our coach.
yes, shoot. Sorry. It's been a long day. This I
The
have
jungler was the tryout.
yes,
Yeah.
just the jungler
Um.
then.
Well, and the I don't require a whole lot of resources mid, so it's good that he goes and ganks top and bottom. He knows where he can invade. He knows his strengths, and come the third game when he jumped that wall on Wukong, he he never communicated, but all I can remember in my head was Coach Chino saying, whatever you do, just jump on the Twitch. So blindly, I didn't even think about what I was doing, and I jumped over the wall with him and right on the Twitch. And then I didn't realize that support was like, don't go in, this might be a bad fight. And so I never heard that at all. And somehow the fight worked out in our favor. So good job on the team.
So even if it was a bad call, what kind of helped that team was the fact that you guys all went together. Whether it was good or bad, you guys all went in.
Yeah.
Um, Wait 1 second. We're asking the chat if they have any questions. Uh,
Does having this scrim win under your belt help Luna feel a little bit better as they move into week 3 of AGL?
Uh, yeah, because we do. Our biggest problem in week 2 is we were giving prior over the neutral objectives, Baron, Herald, and Dragons, too easily, and we weren't approaching the objectives in the correct manner. So we would always enter through jungle rather than through one of the lanes. And a lot of team comps are based around fighting in smaller areas. So when you walk through come from a lane, it opens up uh, the area and it allows us to fight more coordinated.
I do have kind of one curious question. How were the comps in the first game? Because it kind of felt like everyone was on different pages in the first game, and that was kind of why the team fights weren't exactly going in your favor.
Um, well, I the comms were okay. Everybody was talking. It's just what was happening from what we're saying to what we're putting on the game wasn't going the same way. So if what we're saying is left, what we're doing on our keyboard and mouse is going right. It was just not working.
And apparently, Elune wants to ask, what do you think of the team name?
Oh, so inside joke, we all changed our profile pictures to muscular penguins during the game, and we all got a good chuckle out of all having like similar profile pictures, and I went ahead and called ourselves the next club penguin for ZMG.
Did you know that Club Penguin is when I actually made the name Pretty Fig many years ago?
I did not. That's cool.
And I've just like kept the name because it was never taken. Uh,
Well, you may not want to go back down to Team Luna's chats because Glor has said in chat or asked in chat, so what do you think about doing more CS drills?
Those will have to wait till tomorrow. I have to take off for work right after I'm done here.
Well, you heard it
is
here,
there
Glor.
a correlation between your top laner Swole Pingu and the fact that you guys now are all penguins?
Oh, he was our inspiration.
Will there be a name change to Club Penguin?
Uh, that's not for me to decide.
I think if anything, you'd have veto control over that, Fig, but
Yeah, I would not allow that. But it would be an interesting idea. Anyways,
well, thank you for joining us, Molly. Congratulations on the win, and best of luck to you and the rest of Team Luna in Week 3 of AGL this Thursday.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. Alrighty, folks, with that, we are going to call it a night here for ZMG. If you would like to join us, we will be streaming once again on Thursday with the match that Luna will be playing in
that's
AGL.
Legends. That's Legends on Thursday.
It's Legends on Thursday, Luna on Friday. This is why I need a calendar. Legends will be playing on Thursday in the APL. Luna will be playing on Friday in the AGL. We will be at this Twitch channel, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss it, folks. Until then, have a lovely evening, and adios.